Hello, everyone out there. This is 50 Plus. I'm James Lott Jr. I am, once again, this is where I share stuff. This is where I am talking to you, filling you in on my weekend and why I had to cancel some shows and take care of some. I had a family emergency. So I'm going to do the best to kind of explain. I'm going to tell, of course, all of this person's business, but I'm going to explain enough to you kind of what's going on. So on Saturday, I had a Zoom event that was very excited about my soap Zoom, very excited. Got great group of people come in there. Right after I started getting these phone calls. My phone's on silent, but I'm checking the phone, I'm checking online because of people of late registrations and stuff. So I see a person who's calling me. I'm like, quite often, but they don't know I do shows on Sundays. So I was like, they could just calling me and I'll call them afterwards. I'll check the messages afterwards. Then about an hour later, that same person calls again. So I go, let me just deep down and on my iPhone, you can actually preview a transcript of a voicemail. They don't always get it right, but it gave me enough where it was like, this is emergency, call me back. So I call. So I step away from the Zoom. I say, okay, they're all talking. And it was, and I have to say, this last sub Zoom, I said to them at the end, it was one of the most talkative, chatty. I'm sweating 'cause I've been so busy. It's hot in my room. Sweaty, chatty, talkative. Everyone talked. It had a lot to say, and it was like the most. I mean, we've done 9 of them, and this one was just like on fire. So I just want to say thanks to everybody who came, and we talked about it. But anyway, so I get a phone call. I'm not gonna say her name. I'm saying my aunt. I'm not gonna say her name. Um, I get this message that she was rushed to the hospital. Now, to my knowledge, she's not sick or sickly, and like rushed to the hospital. So that gave me shades of my mother and my stepdad, which was earlier this year. So now I'm trying to stay calm. I'm trying to stay present. And I go, okay, go take to the hospital, see your side, and I will let you know more once we get there. I'm like, what? So I go back to my meeting and try to conduct it. But also, just to want you guys to know, on another side note, 10 minutes before my meeting started, I found out someone hacked into my LinkedIn. So if you're a follower of mine on LinkedIn, I don't have a LinkedIn anymore. I had to go in and try to figure out because it's linked to my YouTube channel. I had to make sure I unlinked my YouTube channel, had to change. I mean, it was just I'm trying to do all of this while I have a meeting because this is very important. I don't want to lose my YouTube channel. I have to start all over again. 10 years, I don't do that, 11 years. And then I was like, okay, I gotta get that together, and then I also got to get this together, and I got to get this. And it was like there was so much going on Saturday. I'm like, oh my goodness, this can't be. This is happening to me. So I was trying to handle that, and I think I have. I think it's going to take a while for my stuff to come off of the cloud or whatever. But you see my name, Sally Park, posting JLJ Media stuff. That's not me. But I did cancel a bunch of stuff, so I think I got it all. But we'll find out. Then I'll start a new LinkedIn page. I'd rather start a new LinkedIn page than I had all this stuff. I mean, I hate hackers. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I don't like being online sometimes because I've now been hacked on Starbucks this year. I've been hacked on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and I had to start over. It's like I have bigger numbers. It's just crazy. These people are just like they just don't care. They're just scammers. It's what they do for a living. I guess it's just bizarre. It's real bizarre to me. So right now I don't have a LinkedIn. There's nothing. If you get anything from me, it's not from me. I don't know what's going on, but I think I caught it. So we'll see. Hey guys, so I'm dealing with that. I'm stressed out on that. Then I got this going on. I don't know what's going on with my aunt. And the reason why they called me is because I am like the nearest person to her geographically, but also I've been helping her organize her house and her garden and her yard and her garage for the last 10 years. So I know where stuff is, I know where to look and all this kind of stuff. So they were contacting me to help her out. Now, mind you, keep in mind, she has no kids or grandkids or anything like that. She has a couple of sisters, but they're both in the Midwest. So she has no close family out here. So besides us, me and a couple of her sisters, we had a couple of people we're her family. So it was like for me it was deja vu once again, I was like, oh my goodness. And then to top it all off, I go, where's her dog? They're like, we don't know. Like, no one cared to secure the dog. And so I get to 3.5 hours as our usual. So things go. They went through. I had to just end it. I'm like, I'm sorry, it's 3.5 hours. I've got more to say. I have to end it. I have an emergency. And so I rush over to her house. I talk to her neighbors. All her neighbors are very sweet. They're all looking and they're telling what happened. And so I opened all the doors. I got keys to her house, opened all her doors. And I said, I'm gonna stay here. It's around 3 o'clock, it was around 3:30 in the afternoon, 4 o'clock. I said, I'm gonna stay here until it gets dark. So about 4 hours. I will stay here, and maybe Breezy, which is the dog's name, will come home. And Breezy loves me. We're very close. Dog and I are very close. She'll recognize. So I kept going outside. People were driving around the corner, around the block. I checked on next door, which I keep doing. This is like a couple days later. No Breezy. And I'm like, how are we gonna explain her dog is gone? If she gets better and comes home. Now, the problem was because she lives alone, her man passed away a few years ago. A lot of us didn't have keys to her house. So her one neighbor had the back door key. No one has the front door key. And on the inside were the side door keys. So I got the back door key to get in, gave it back to the person next door. I said, you hold on to this just in case. It's perfect. I went in and got the side door keys. And I made a copy set. So she'll have her set and I'll have my set. Or the family will have a set for her just in case, right? I didn't think about making them maybe another set. I'm still thinking about that. I might do that. Make one more set, and just make sure they're good. So we have a couple sets just sitting around just in case. So I still know it's wrong. We just don't know. I mean, I'm getting more news every time I get a phone call. I'm like, here's the next set of news. Here's the next. My mother's like, it was just worse and worse. So the gist of that day, which was yesterday, which was Saturday, the gist of that story was um, she had blood in her stool, which I saw in the house. I saw it, and I was cleaning. I started cleaning up while I was there. I saw it, and then they said that she was complaining and she was in pain, and so they took her. They had to call the ambulance. They took her in to Cedars-Sinai, which is a great hospital here in Los Angeles, and that she was bleeding internally, not eternally, internally, and that her kidneys were compromised, so they're putting her on dialysis, and a host of other things. Her blood pressure was high, low, her sugar was high. Like, it was just not good news. Like, oh my goodness, okay. So, what happens for me is, like I said, I went through this before. Is now I'm on call. There's one of these, now you have to wait. You're on call, and so every phone call, every time the phone rings or a text, like what is it? So I was at her house and we needed phone numbers for certain people. So I found the phone list. My aunt was great as a phone list. So all of our numbers on it. My numbers on it, everybody's numbers on it. My mother's numbers on it, everybody's numbers are on it. So we got to give the numbers out to certain people. I saw her wallet and her, she has a fanny pack full of stuff, and her car keys. And what's funny is I saw her today, which I'll get to that later. She asked where it was because she thought I had it. I thought I had it with me when I came in. I go, well, no, it was on the. I said it was on the floor. I picked it up and I put it. I said all your stuff on a certain table. So if anybody needs to get in, I can tell them where to go. I'm an organizer, so I can't help that part. You can go right. They can go right there and get it. So your car keys are there. Your fanny pack with your wallets all right there. I said I have yours. I took her cell phone and kept it on me. It was an old flip phone. It's kind of funny. She wanted. I gave it to her today. She wanted it, so I charged it up here and gave it to her. So she has that. And then I'm sweating. I've been working. Um, I do all that. So I took care of that. I grabbed her phone. So I said, okay, when I do leave, I'm taking her phone and I'm taking a phone list just in case. My sister and I made keys, so I'll have those on, have those with me. But anyway, so um, Breezy never came. I'm just like, I'm heartbroken about that. It's a whole nother cute small dog. I'm just like, I'm still working on that. Then so then they said she's in ICU. And that's what it's going to be for the evening. Okay. Go to Home Depot, make keys, go home, have a drink, try to relax, and whatever. So I try to sleep. This morning, I was like, okay, I want to go to the hospital. But I got a phone call saying that they found she had a bleeding ulcer. They had done a CT scan, nothing bad there, but they found a bleeding ulcer. They wanted to go and do an endoscopy, and go and try to stop it, do all that. And plus, she was also intubated. She was on a breathing apparatus, all kind of stuff. She couldn't breathe, all this stuff. So okay, so she's actually going to go in. So we waited, and so me and my Aunt Debbie decided to go later after she got out. So we waited till the afternoon. I ran some errands with my sister, came back home, and so I had no shows today. And then I put out on the audio version. I put out a disclaimer because they don't see what I'm doing, but the audio people, but you guys here know. So I put it on. I did disclaimers, and I couldn't be there for these reasons. And then so then we decided to go to the hospital, and we went. I'm glad we went. We went over there. We prayed over her. We talked to her. She held our hands. I mean, her grip was very strong. She was out. She asked about her dog. So I didn't give her any full details. She's kind of out of it still from the anesthesia and everything. She was saying, "What day is it today? Where am I? I'm at the hospital." We were explaining to her. Got her some ice chips because she was just dry. We got her some lotion. These are things you'll forget sometimes. Lotion, lip balm, totally, needed for her. So I got to grab one of these lip balms I have. So as I'm thinking about it right now, and take it with me. That's what I want to take it with me. Have it on me at all times. So when I go see her again, there we go. So I see her again. And this one's Honey Orange Blossom. Okay, good. I'll put that in there for her. It's a new one. It's a total new one. I just haven't opened it yet. And she already has lotion. So I'm going to take that with me. But those are two things people forget. My mother was the same thing. She wanted lip balm. She wanted it dry because she couldn't eat or anything. Gary looked for ice chips. As we were about to leave, they were going to give her some chicken broth, a liquid diet. Her blood pressure looked really well today, and her heart rate was good. She was breathing on her own. They took the intubation tube out, but when she coughed, there was some blood. So I told the nurse doctor talked to her. The nurse and doctor got to meet them when we were there. Just great timing. So shout out to Nurse Jenny, doctor, they were great. I mean, everybody was so nice to see her side. I just different from other hospitals. It was very nice. She had her own room, but she's very weak. And she whispered to me she couldn't. I said, "I'm in your house. Don't worry. We're taking care of everything." We told the doctor, "I'm a nephew, and don't worry about that. I know where everything is. I know where her papers are. I know where all that stuff is." So once again, deja vu. I'm in this situation that everyone's looking to me to kind of, hopefully like make it calming, and I know where stuff is. And so I said the house is secure. Whatever you need, we'll give it to you. So I let her have the phone. We gave her some lotion. I'll bring the lip on this if I see her. So they said they're trying to see if they can stop the bleeding for sure. Monitor overnight at the ICU. But they were encouraged. They said she looked better. So we'll see. And that's we're gonna think positive, of course, and that if she does do fine overnight, transfer her to a regular room and then do some recovery stuff. So because she is a diabetic and there's other things that's going on with her. We want to make sure she's good. So but again, for me personally, I had to hold it together because I almost started crying when she held my hand and squeezed it and wouldn't let it go. And I was like, it's like, oh my goodness, and this is I just went through this like 3 months ago, and so it's another figure of mine who was basically decently okay, and then suddenly it changes. And I'm learning that lesson over and over and over again this year. These last 7 months have just not been the greatest months for me or my family. So that's basically kind of what happened. We're still monitoring her. We're gonna play it. Like I said, I'm in that mode like I always am. The phone is on. We're gonna handle things as they come. Just I'm in that mode, handling as they come. So work is gonna be very sporadic for a minute. We're gonna see what happens. And yeah, so me and her sisters are trying to work it out. I'm trying to work it out. So it's just, I mean, just life is short. But again, I'm like, for me, of all people in my life, most of them who have sons and daughters or grandchildren, this particular one doesn't. And once again, the nearest relative, so to speak, who's also very, organized and trustworthy and all that kind of stuff. So it's I can't seem to catch a break. And what's so funny is a person who was checking on me has the same name as my aunt, so I'm gonna actually tell her that. So it's kind of crazy. But I want to make sure I tell you that, and that's the update right now. As of Sunday night at 7:19, I'm going to watch the Tonys and see how they do this. I'm very curious, and maybe have another drink again and relax because I have some important interviews tomorrow. Then I kind of want to go to her house tomorrow because she has some plants that need, mean plants that need some attention, and to see if the dog comes back. I mean, because maybe who knows, or maybe a neighbor has it and they're waiting for me to come back or something. I don't know. So I'm gonna go by there. I'm thinking I'll go there in the afternoon because it's lighter later here. So I'm gonna just, yeah, that's probably what we do. But thanks everybody for always letting me share my life, piece of my life with you out there. And if anybody can relate or has gone through this or anticipate going through this, hopefully this is some kind of something you can relate, you can hold on to and go, okay, James went through this too, got it. Or it's like, or at least give you some insight to what you could possibly expect going through what I'm going through. That's at the very least, or at least you get to be entertained on some level. 50 plus is everywhere. James Lott Jr. is everywhere. I'll talk to you next time.